Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here, and this is episode 3, playing on Millennium Dawn, which is a modern-day mod for Hearts of Iron 4, as the United States of America. Now, just a housekeeping issue to let you be aware of. My saved game for this series was corrupted, and I had to go back to the old autosave that was all the way back. Actually, it wasn't autosave, it was a mid-game save that I did back in January of the year that I was playing. So I lost about 6 months of gameplay. So I've gone back and recreated my actions as similarly as possible. But it took me a little bit longer to win the war in Mexico because I did it a little more deliberately so I didn't lose as many men. So it took me into September. So I've just finished the Conquest of Mexico to get back to where I was at the end of the last episode. Now, a few things have happened that were a little different, and most of it centers around escalation of combat around the world. First, I want to show you the factions, and this is the big problem that I'm facing. There is that Russian faction, the CSTO. But not only does it include Belarus, Romania, Bulgaria, and which one of the Baltic powers is this? Is Estonia? That's just, I guess that's just a part of Russia. But it also happens to include the two largest or most populous countries on Earth, India and China. So basically, about half the world is allied in this faction. So it's obviously a big problem. I have my own faction, which is basically just the United States and Afghanistan. It's known as the Middle Eastern Defensive League. And actually, both Afghanistan countries are a part of that, which is kind of weird, but okay. And you'll notice world tension is at 100. There's a war going on between, it's called the Indian-German War. And it's basically Germany and Sweden versus that entire CSTO federation, which includes Russia. Let me just sort by the largest factions that are a part of the countries that are part of this. You've got North Korea, China, India, and Russia, all against Germany and Sweden. So that's what's going on. Germany and Sweden don't appear to be able to last very long in this war. As you can see, there's about 2 million fielded manpower against 100,000. What surprises me, though, is that the fielded manpower on this side is as small as it is. Actually, it looks like China's not in the war, so that's why it's as small as it is. If China joins that war, it's obviously going to be a different story. So we're going to go ahead and continue on and see what happens. If you did not see the first 2 episodes of this series, there's a link in the description below that will take you back to that. My national debt is now under $3 trillion, so that's some really good news. I've got to work on my trade influence, though, because I'm having a hard time trading for steel because of my low trade influence. Now, I do have war causes that I can, or war goals that I can make use of against Canada and Cuba, but I think at least for the time being, I'm going to chill. I'll probably start gobbling up Central America before too long, at least to get to the doorstep of South America, but beyond that, I think I'm going to just hang tight for a little while. So I've decided I want to leave the faction, this Middle Eastern Defense League. It was just me in Afghanistan anyway. And what that allows me then to do is create my own faction, which I'm going to start with a Israeli alliance if I can do it. Oh, I can't do it because I did that stupid American-Russian alliance, which actually didn't amount to anything. So we're kind of stuck from being able to make other alliances right now. So I'll have to see what else we can do. We can do military assistance for Saudi Arabia. I think we'll go that route. Also, decisions I can make. We could hold elections and allow democracy, which I think I will probably go ahead and do. And we'll see what happens. Election campaigning heating up as race enters final 2 weeks. So Mike Pence is running. It's interesting that it says Democratic Party is in charge because obviously Mike Pence is not a Democrat. So that's kind of a little weird the way that is. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do here. Maybe we'll go with Emerging Outlook Propaganda Campaign. We could change the American flag. I don't think I'll do that. Kind of like it. So we'll see what happens with this election. Okay, so with all the votes counted, Mike Pence seems to be unable to secure the support for another term in office from the American voters. Instead, it was a right-wing populist's time to shine. With 53.7% of the vote, they've single-handedly gathered enough support for in Parliament to rule alone. So it goes to the right-wing populists, which are Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. What? Ann Coulter is president of the United States? I am not okay with this. What? Oh my gosh. What have I done? What have I done? I put a talk show personality in charge. I know, I guess it's no different than putting a guy from a reality show. All right, so anyway, what can we do about this? Ann Coulter's going to retire as leader. Sorry, Ann Coulter, you're out. Now Katrina Pearson is the president. I actually don't know who she is, but I'll take it. All right, cool. So Katrina Pearson, our first female president of the United States. I have no idea who she is. I'll probably have to look that up and see what I can learn about who she is. But that's where we're at now. Okay, so apparently Katrina Pearson is a American Tea Party activist. Tea Party, if you're not familiar, if you're from another country, you probably don't know. That was a pretty strong movement a few years ago here in the U.S. While Barack Obama was president. She was also national spokesperson for the Donald Trump 2016 presidential campaign. Okay. And a regular CNN contributor during the campaign. She's 42 years old. She is from Kansas. And there you have it. Okay. So that's who Katrina Pearson is. Congratulations to her. So we've got new divisions springing up. And I've got quite a few divisions on the border with Canada just in case we decide to go that route. But as soon as we finish U.S. military assistance for Saudi Arabia, I'm thinking we're going to go after destroying South American socialists, which is going to give me a bunch of available war focuses. Although I think I've got to have ruling party emerging outlook, so maybe that's not going to happen. I don't know. Hard to say. Okay, so it is going to let me do this. So destroy South American socialists. Is going to give me what? I would guess it's going to give me war goals on any South American socialist country. So I'm not entirely sure who those are. But we'll certainly find out soon enough. In the meantime, we've got to work on what we've got in free dockyards here. Let's get some more of these Arleigh Burke destroyers going. I'm just building up my Navy. Eventually I am going to actually need my Navy. I'm certainly not there yet. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Stop. Alright, there we go. So I think I'm going to release some of my occupied territories. I don't really feel the need to have Diego Garcia, which is over in the Indian Ocean, the southwest of India. It's kind of out of range for most of my planes anyway, so it's just an unnecessary thing. So we'll give that back to the UK, who actually I think owns it anyway. I'm just waiting for my every 6-month save to finish there. Alright, so there's that. Let's see, what other territories do I have? I could release the Confederate States of America. I'm not going to do that. I could give Guantanamo back to Cuba. I could give a naval base in Kuwait back, but I don't think I'll do that. Obviously, I could release Mexico. American Samoa could be given back to Polynesia. I think I'll hold off on any of that for now. National debt down to just $2.5 trillion. I have lowered taxes down to 20%. And eventually I'll make some other changes, but that kind of closes the deficit a little bit there. So maybe, just maybe, we will start raising what we have available to everybody here. The political power, monthly population, division recovery rate. I'm just looking to see what the gains are to be had. Alright, let's go basic hospital subsidies. It's obviously going to cost a little, but I'll still have a budget surplus. Okay, there's our Destroy South American Socialist National Focus. I don't know what that's going to mean, but we're going to check it out here in a second. Available war goals. We still just have Cuba and Canada at the moment. I don't know if more will happen as we get further along, but I got to look and see what my other options are at this point, because I'm not sure that I have many. We may have to just look to internal policies now. And there's not a lot available for that either, because we chose political revolution, so all of those are no longer available. We do have the American economy. Now, I thought I did regulation before, so maybe that was one of those things I missed from when I lost my 6 months of playthrough. So we're going to go ahead. Actually, that's not what I wanted. I wanted deregulation. Oh, I can't, because my current ruling party is not emerging outlook. Alright, so we're actually going to change that. We're going to start working toward emerging outlook because I'd like to go that direction, because that may open me up to the possibility of an alliance with that Russian alliance. So let's see. I guess we'll just focus on the army for now. We're also going to focus on our land doctrine. Alright, I guess we'll just go after Guatemala for now. So let's just do a little justify war goal. Take 20 days to do that. Probably won't take that long to win the war. Oh, wrong army, that's why. There we go. So we'll prepare for this little invasion of Guatemala. Shouldn't take long at all. Alright, justification complete. Let's hope this doesn't tick anybody off. After all, it is just Guatemala, right? Oh, the Inter-American Treaty of Reciprocal Assistance, commonly known as the Rio Pact, is an agreement signed in 1947 in Rio de Janeiro among many countries of the Americas. Central principle contained in it was the articles that an attack against one is an attack against them all. It's kind of like NATO, same thing. The hemispheric defense. All right, so I could intervene. What am I going to do? Attack myself? For yeah, I'm going to remove myself as a Rio Pact member. I'm the one who violated it, so obviously I'm going to remove myself from that. I mean, duh. Okay. No, wrong army. Okay. Which army is it that's down there? It's this one here. Okay. Boom. All right, Guatemala. Sorry. Just us versus you and your 10,000 man army. Wow. Vietnam just declared war on the Philippines. Put that on the list of things you never thought you'd hear. In the meantime, I have not lost a man in this war, and Guatemala has only lost 116, so this is going to be a low casualty affair. We've taken one territory. We're moving in on some of the others. I think once I take Guatemala City, that'll be it for that. We've got a non-aggression pact from Denmark. Call to arms from the Philippines. All right, Rio Pact ultimatum. The treaty allies have decided to defend them. What will you do? So, does this mean war against Canada as well? I guess we're going to find out. War it is! All right, so we're going to decline the war against the Philippines, at least for now. I'll lose 20% for stability. Okay, we'll go to war with Vietnam. It's not really going to affect anything. I just want to see who all is going to end up at war with me over this whole Rio Pact thing. I don't know who all is going to join. But Vietnam's got a significant size army. Dang, I didn't expect them to have that many divisions. But in the meantime, we just finish off what we're doing against Guatemala and hope that nobody else declares war in this whole thing. I have lost... Oh, actually, I haven't lost anybody. The 24 losses were the Philippines. So I have yet to lose a man in this war against Guatemala. Alright, as we continue to move in on Guatemala, I'm going to see if I can offer a ceasefire to Vietnam. Nope, it doesn't appear that it's going to allow me to do that right now. I've lost 30 in my war against Guatemala. They've lost 152. Very bloodless conflict right now. I've been trying to get air power down there, but there's not a lot of available resources. Hungary leaves the European Union. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and go to my construction tab. And I've got to build some air bases. It's not going to help me against Guatemala, but in my future conflicts down here, I want to have those options available to me. So I've been working on maxing out infrastructure in Mexico so that supplies will flow freely. In the meantime, I've been building up air power in various places, so I'm going to push these up to the top. Alright, well, I only lost 38 men invading Guatemala, so we're going to go ahead and take all states. We inflicted about 400 casualties, and that's it for that. So we're one step closer to pushing our way down the Central American Peninsula. Oh, here goes Yugoslavia going crazy. They've declared war on Bosnia. They're going to try and reacquire their old territory and reform Yugoslavia as it once existed, which would mean going after Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, and Macedonia, I would guess. So we'll see how that all plays out. In the meantime, let's take a look at the other world wars that are wars in the world that are still happening. It's not letting me look at the wars right now, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I couldn't even look at my own war last time. Yeah, it's still not letting me do that either. I may have to save the game back out and come back in. We'll see. But in the meantime, justifying against El Salvador, that won't, again, take very long. And hopefully we'll get these airfields built up. So I have the ability to get some more air power down here, because right now I just don't have. There's only capacity for 200. Alright, so the conquest of El Salvador can now begin. Again, shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it looks like Canada could be a potential enemy here because of the Rio Pact. So we're going to see. Yes, okay, we are at war with Canada all over El Salvador. So let's go ahead and deal with them. I didn't issue an actual attack order. Okay. Now we can deal with El Salvador. In the meantime, though, we've got to look north to the American theater because we've now got a war with Canada to contend with. At least one would think. Let's take a look and see if that's the case. It is. First things first, I need to go ahead and check out my air power situation because I know I don't have any air power up there. So we're going to start sending air power north. I have been working on building up my air bases in the north, but I know I haven't gotten quite there yet. So transport plane doesn't do me a lot of good here. We're also going to have to fire up the Navy and get them going. Alright, so we'll work on that, and then we'll see how this goes. But obviously, war with Canada begins now. So I'm going to issue an order to... There's really not a lot to take over here. So we don't need to go too crazy on that part of Canada. But I'll start there, and I'll just kind of hold things on this side for a little while. Alright, we're sending our armies down in to go after this part of Canada here, but it looks like he's going to hit me and take Buffalo. I didn't have an army on that one little border there, so we'll have to correct that while I march in, take Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec. I would feel like those cities combined with Vancouver and Calgary over here in the west might be enough to finish Canada off, because almost all of their major cities are really close to the U.S. border. Let's see how this is going. I've lost 10 men. Canada's lost 100, so pretty low casualty situation once again. As soon as we break out from Detroit, I can start pushing in this way. And he may get as far as Baltimore or Philadelphia before I can get my army over there. In the meantime, I should have some other armies that I can quickly rush into the field. Other divisions that are in this area. We'll start another army with them. And their sole job is just going to be to go contain this situation over here. Alright, in the meantime, war goals continue to kind of focus on the military at the moment. I don't think I can do deregulation yet until I can change my ruling party to something other than nationalist outlook or emerging outlook. Alright, the containment has taken place, and now we're going to push back, recapture Buffalo. My armies are quickly on the outskirts of Toronto. Let's see how that's working out so far. Actually, I haven't brought them down all that far. El Salvador is going to fall pretty soon. Casualties pretty even between the U.S. and Canada at the moment. We're also pushing up in this area, and I think we'll start pushing west toward Montreal. Let's go ahead and move in on Quebec. He really doesn't have a lot of divisions opposing me at the moment. He's only got 13 divisions compared to my 98. So it's really just a matter of marching on a lot of these territories without any opposition whatsoever. And Toronto's about to fall. Alright, no. War it is. Bring it on. And just like that, El Salvador's out. We're going to take all states. We're going to end that. Now we continue on Canada. Oh, did that end the war? Come on, please don't tell me that ended the war. No, it did. It just kind of disappeared for a minute. So we're still at war with Canada, which is interesting because they're in NATO, but I don't think anybody else is still in NATO, so that's why they don't have any allies coming to their defense. Alright, we're going to push things out here. Oh boy, look at this. We just don't have a lot of divisions up in this area right now because we're pushing too far to that side. No, I'm not going to grant Canada a debt bailout. I'm at war with Canada. So because I issued orders to a lot of these armies just to go after the major cities rather than pushing back the borders, that's why he's kind of sneaking in and kind of getting behind me there. But that's all going to change here shortly as soon as I push some of these divisions up. Why would they go that way? That's a really bad idea. Let's send some of these divisions. In fact, I'm going to send this whole army that way, I think, eventually. Looking to the west, it's August of 2006. I've taken Vancouver. We're marching on Calgary now. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take some more divisions, start marching them up there toward Calgary. Just took Saskatoon. We've got Manitoba. And there's not a lot else out that way. So now we're marching on some of these towns. As soon as I take Montreal, I would think that's going to go a long way toward winning this thing. I've got every major Canadian city under my control once I take Montreal. And that's about to happen right now. So here's the situation. 1,000 casualties on my side, 6,000 for his. But pretty much every major Canadian city falling under my control with the fall of Montreal. So here's the situation. I didn't quite have all the major cities. We'll take Calgary, and then we'll need to go after Edmonton and Alberta. That's the current national capital in Canada. And then over here, I've got Manitoba, and we're trying to destroy his army now, and I'm just about done that. I've got Montreal, and now we're closing in on Quebec. And I believe once I have Edmonton and Quebec, that should do it. I can't think of any other territories I would need outside of those two. So we'll find out here really quickly if that's the case. Because there's very little left defending either of them. I've lost 3,000, inflicted 13,000 casualties on the Canadians. But Quebec is now undefended. Quebec City, that is. And it looks like we're just about to move out into Edmonton, so let's see if that does it. I love how it moves so slowly at the end. Do we have Quebec? We do. Oh, still not there. We're in the end of October 2006, and I believe this time I think I'm about to do it. I am so close. You can see right here, Canada's 98% toward capitulation. I just took another town, and I've taken one over here as well. If we can go grab Augusta, let's see where we're at. Still 98%. I don't even see any other places that I could go after that could be victory points at this point. I guess we could go up to Norway House up here. That's a bit of a push to do that. But there's really nothing else that's even there. So I pretty much have had to take every town that's marked on this map in order to do this. So it looks like in Augusta we're going to arrive in about a week. So I guess we're going to be probably into mid-November. Finally, at long last, Canada has been conquered. Take all states? Yes, please. Eventually I may kind of parcel some of this stuff back out, but let's go ahead and take a look at the map now. And as you can see, the United States is now basically North America. And now we've just got to start gobbling up some of these smaller ones. But we still face a huge task ahead because of the factions that exist in the world, primarily this huge faction that makes up almost all of Asia: China, India, and Russia, among others. So it's going to be a difficult task moving forward, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right there because I feel like that's a lot for this episode, even though it was rather short in terms of what you're going to actually see. I've spent most of the morning playing this, so as always, please let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Please hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you would. I'd greatly appreciate that, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.